my own purpose in life is to be an aquascaper and to help promote the art of aquascaping. Let's go right back to the beginning. So I bought my first aquarium in 2002, 2003. I was married to my ex-wife and I was in the Royal Air Force, and I just fancied fish keeping as a hobby. I've always had a kind of close relationship with nature, really like kind of water and plants and things, so quite quickly knew that I wanted to get into planted aquariums. Quite soon after that I discovered the work of Takashi Amano, and I make no secret of the fact that he is my kind of #1 inspiration, and without his work I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. He absolutely transformed the way I thought about aquariums, not just as a glass box like a fish tank, but actually as a work of art where you're combining nature, science, artistry, a sense of creativity, sort of nurturing, three-dimensional sculpturing. You know, you've got biology in there, chemistry, physics. It ticks so many boxes, and I think it's a unique art form. I don't think there's anything else like it in the world. You know, maybe you can compare it to landscape gardening perhaps, or other types of sort of three-dimensional art forms, but there's something super captivating about aquascaping. You know, I think as human beings we have a close relationship with water. I think there's a sense of comfort when we're near water. Maybe it goes back to our kind of ancestor days where water is obviously a vital component for us to live. So if we're near that water, it perhaps brings this sense of comfort that we have access to this water, and so I think maybe that's one of the reasons we love water so much. I think we just have an innate kinship with nature. I really love the colour green. I really love wood and rocks. I don't know about you guys, but I love to be amongst the countryside or walking by a river. And I think, you know, a beautiful aquascape just brings us closer to nature. So even if you don't have a garden, or you don't live near a park, or you live in the middle of a city where it's very urban, you can still have this close relationship with nature by having an aquascape. So I think this is one of the most beautiful things about aquascaping. So I quickly got into aquascaping, and I have quite an obsessive personality. Once I become interested in something, I relentlessly pursue it until I become well versed in it, and I've tried to find out as much information as I can. Now, back in the day, this was sort of 2003, 2004, I subscribed to Practical Fishkeeping magazine. I was reading the works of people like Tom Barr, who is a very well-known planted aquarium expert based in California. He has a well-known forum called the Barr Report, and I was reading all sorts of articles on there and using the knowledge that I was learning to really succeed with planted tanks. And one of my original aquascapes was called Mother Microsaurum, and I was really proud of this. I grew a full carpet of Glossostigma, I had a huge Java fern, and ever since I've had a really close relationship with Java ferns. And it was a really successful aquascape. And at the time I was also reading Practical Fishkeeping magazine, and in this magazine, which I still read today, I still subscribe, there was a couple of planted aquarium experts in there, writers, and they were saying how nitrates and phosphates are the enemy of the planted tank. They cause algae. They were saying that you should only ever use really soft water, you should use under gravel heating, you should use low levels of turnover. And these were all kind of going completely against what I was reading about and experiencing with success. So I wrote a letter into Practical Fishkeeping magazine and included a photograph of Mother Microsaurum, and quickly got a response back, and they wanted to come and do a reader visit. Unfortunately, I was just getting ready to be deployed to the Falkland Islands. I was still in the Air Force at this point, so I didn't have an aquarium to show them, but I did say to them, you know, sorry, haven't got an aquarium right now, but I can write. Would you like me to write about these new ways of growing aquarium plants? You know, using nitrates and phosphates, using high levels of turnover, high levels of CO2, circulation, etc. So they agreed, and almost ever since then, I've been writing regularly for Practical Fishkeeping magazine. So this was in 2005, 2006. So what's that now? 13 years. That really kind of gave me the platform to become a bit more of a sort of, I wouldn't say authority, it sounds a bit pretentious, but it really forced me down this path of creating new aquascapes, learning as much as I could, always reading new content from magazines, books, the internet. And my experience obviously grew and grew. I could approach suppliers, brands for equipment in exchange for being featured in the magazine. So effectively I was kind of sponsored. This is kind of how it all started, with aquascaping becoming more of a career. I was still full-time, very much full-time in the Royal Air Force, but my hobby was growing to the point where I was starting to earn, you know, some money from it, some income, by no means a full-time income, but enough to kind of, you know, be happy with it. And as my reputation was growing, I was being asked to do kind of more public speaking events, talking at trade shows, setting up aquascapes for companies at trade shows. I've co-founded the UK Aquatic Plant Society in 2007, very popular forum still, so do check it out, really good source of information. My involvement with aquascaping and the trade just gradually kept going up, and it wasn't until I was still in the Air Force in 2012, 2013, I was on deployment to Afghanistan, to Helmand province, which some of you may know is one of the most dangerous parts of Afghanistan during the conflict. And I was actually deployed on a bomb disposal tour, and I was hit in a roadside bomb. Luckily I wasn't seriously injured, but it really made me kind of reflect on my life's choices. And almost simultaneously to that, just afterwards, my ex-wife decided she wanted to separate. So I thought, well, this is a huge new chapter in my life. What do I do? Do I carry on in the Royal Air Force doing a job that I like but I'm not passionate about? I don't think my life's purpose is to be in the Royal Air Force. Or do I really pursue my passion, which is aquascaping? So that's what I did. I decided to leave the Royal Air Force, and I signed the paperwork, the release paperwork, and within about 4 weeks, I was unemployed. Thankfully, I already had a good reputation within the aquatic industry, and I approached an aquatic company in London called Tropical Marine Centre, and I made the transition over to civilian life working for them down in London. I worked for them for about 6 months or so and decided it was time to move on, and gained some really great experience with Tropical Marine Centre, and then went kind of full-time self-employed. Wrote more articles for Practical Fishkeeping, was doing more kind of private installations for private clients, doing more workshops. Then started kind of contract work with Evolution Aqua, and we developed together the Aquascape range, which you've probably heard of. This is an Aquascape 1200. So I collaborated with those guys for a couple of years. My kind of profile in aquascaping grew gradually, and I was working with lots of different companies. Great believer in collaboration versus competition, so much rather work with people than against them. During this period, in fact, since I started writing for Practical Fishkeeping in 2005 or 6, I had a very close relationship with Tropica Aquarium Plants in Denmark. So that relationship has gradually grown now to the point where I work for them, you know, a lot. I do almost a whole week there every month, and they're a huge supporter of me as a person, as a brand, and obviously the channel as well. More recently developed a very close relationship with Awase, who supported me very well, and I do a lot of travelling with those guys to America and going over to Germany with them soon as well. And just, you know, Green Aqua, most of you have seen maybe videos of me going over to Green Aqua and Green Aqua videos featuring me. All of these kind of collaborations have really helped support me and my mission to promote aquascaping. And that is my primary mission. That is why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you right now on YouTube. It is an amazing hobby, and I really truly believe it enriches people's lives, and there's evidence of that in the comment section almost on every video how many people enjoy the aquascapes, what their experiences are with their own aquascapes, helping to rekindle a hobby for someone, someone that's been out of the hobby for years, have maybe just by chance watched one of my videos, become inspired and started to aquascape again. I've had emails from people that have been clinically depressed and suffer from anxiety, and aquascaping has helped these guys. I've aquascaped in homeless shelters. Recently I filmed in a care home, in a hospital. I just think it's an absolutely beautiful hobby that really does enrich people's lives, and I'm so grateful that I found my own purpose in life is to be an aquascaper and to help promote the art of aquascaping. And that's why I created the YouTube channel all those years ago. In fact, I created it in 2006, but it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago where I started taking it seriously. I'm sure many of you have heard of the King of DIY, Joey Mullen. He actually came over to the UK and I hosted him in my home. He's been in the gallery. It wasn't the gallery so much back then. And Joey didn't give me so much kind of mentorship or leadership or anything like this, but he just made me realise that I could really make a go of YouTube. He made it quite clear to me that I had the right attributes to grow a channel. Back then it was very much at the beginning of the journey, and I didn't quite know where it would take me, but safe to say it has been the most exciting couple of years of my life. I've travelled all over the world, USA, all over Europe. I'm hoping to go to Asia at some point soon. Still not been to Japan. I'd love to go to the Nature Aquarium Gallery. And aquascaping has taken me to these beautiful places and met these amazing people all over the world. It's a really amazing community, the world of aquascaping professionals, retailers and other hobbyists. That's the story really. That's where we are now. The channel's grown better than I would have hoped. I have put a lot of effort into it. I've tried different kind of filming approaches, used different techniques, lots of hopefully varied and interesting content for you. But it's all hopefully entertaining, educational and inspirational. That's the whole kind of philosophy behind the channel, and it's all absolutely honest. It's just as it is. YouTube is a real reflection of my daily work basket. That's why you'll see a film from me scaping one of the biggest aquariums in Germany, to setting up a humble flue valve flex for Nimrod, a better fish, and everything in between. And it's been an absolute pleasure to take you guys along on this amazing journey, and I think it's only just started. So before I go, I want to say a very special thank you to all my supporters, all the subscribers, all the sponsors, and a super special thank you to my family, because without those guys, especially Emma, my fiance, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, and I would nowhere near be as driven or as purposeful or as happy as I am right now. So thank you everyone. You take care. Keep on scaping. Cheerio.